AI is rewriting the business playbook, with productivity boosts and faster decision-making coming to every industry. If you're not thinking about AI, you can bet your competition is. This is not where you want to drop the ball. But AI requires a lot of compute power. And with most cloud platforms, the cost for your AI workloads can spiral. That is, unless you're running on OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. This was the cloud built for AI, a blazing fast enterprise-grade platform for your infrastructure, database, apps, and all your AI workloads. OCI costs 50% less than other major hyperscalers for compute, 70% less for storage, and 80% less for networking. Thousands of businesses have already scored with OCI, including Vodafone, Thomson Reuters, and Suno AI. Now the ball's in your court.
Right now, Oracle can cut your current cloud bill in half if you move to OCI. Minimum financial commitment and other terms apply. Offer ends March 31st. See if your company qualifies for this special offer at oracle.com/strategic. That's oracle.com/strategic.
Looking to save even more money on your phone bill? How does free sound? Helium Mobile is offering the first free phone plan. That's right, free phone service. Seriously, no bill, no contract, just free.
It's not just some limited time deal. You get nationwide 5G coverage with 3 gigabytes of data, 300 texts, and 100 minutes of calls. If you need more data, you can upgrade to their other plans. Plus, you're supporting a community-built network that's growing every day to keep you seamlessly connected wherever you go.
When we first heard about Helium Mobile, we couldn't wait to share it with all our Frugal listeners who are looking to budget smarter when it comes to everyday necessities without sacrificing quality.
So if you're in the market to cut that monthly phone bill, like really cut it, Helium Mobile is where it's at. Download the Helium Mobile app today and use the code FRUGAL to get your free plan today.
Sail to breathtaking destinations in Alaska or Europe with the Disney Cruise Line. Discover where onboard magic meets onshore adventures, where beloved characters
Hiya, pal!
meet alluring landscapes, where Broadway quality shows meet historic cities, where imaginative dining meets amazing wildlife, and where exciting experiences await the whole family. Book an adventure-filled summer Disney cruise to Alaska or Europe.
I've never felt like this before. It's like you just get me. I feel like my true self with you. Does that sound crazy? And it doesn't hurt that you're gorgeous. Okay, that's it. I'm taking you home with me. I mean, you can't find shoes this good just anywhere. Find a shoe for every you from brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, and more at your DSW store or dsw.com.
Episode 496, Tips to Succeed with Your Low Buy Year and Combat Overconsumption.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we are motivating you and giving you some hacks and tips to continue with your low buy year. Even at the beginning of the year, if you said this was going to be a no buy year, or maybe you tried to do no spend January, even the no spend February that we did with our listeners and our newsletter subscribers over on the Friendletter. Even if those did not go the way you thought they would go, first, that's normal.
You're not alone.
You're not alone. So we want you to remotivate yourself. First quarter of the year is almost over, and let's have the other 3 quarters of the year really strong.
Mm-hmm. And I think, honestly, a no-buy year sounds pretty unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
But I do really love the idea of a low buy year, or just aiming at underconsumption, or the opposite of overconsumption, that we can be so sucked into when we're not thinking, we're not mindful about where our money is going. And so we're hoping that this can kind of help you with that. But first, this episode is brought to you by All-in-One, like a fanny pack that doubles as a belt, or a hat that's also a hair tie, or a cup that can be used as a plate too. What? Whenever you can jam like 15 desirable things into one handy dandy accessory, we're here for it. Kind of like our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. It's an all-in-one guide on how to save money, spend better, and feel confident about your finances, how to practice values-based spending. It's the last thing you'll actually need to buy this year because it's just that good. You can use it for bedtime reading. Use it as your journal. Wear it like a necklace. Use it as a coaster and a plate. Get the all-in-one. Buy What You Love Without Going Broke wherever books are sold.
It just got more unhinged as you went on.
Yep.
It started real good and then just devolved, but I didn't hate it.
Because you don't just need it for all of your finance tips. You could also just use it for all of your accessory needs. Because all in one.
I will push back on it's the last thing you'll need to buy this year because it is March. So
I stand by it.
Might need to buy one or two more things for the rest of the year. But that's just where we differ. It's okay. We're allowed to have different opinions.
We are not the same.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to queue up a few episodes for after this, episode 440, How Contentment Leads to Better Spending with Shannon Ables is a fantastic episode. And then also episode 436, Under Consumption Core 101. Again, I know the numbers are pointless. You guys keep telling me and I keep saying them, but just search for the title of the episode and you'll find it. Okay, so let's get into our article today. 7 low buy year tips for maximum success and lasting change. And it's from thesimplebalance.com.
So to get into a little bit about kind of what it is, why would you do it? And they also reference how a no buy year is much more difficult than a low buy year. But it's essentially choosing to really take inventory of your spending and decrease it as much as possible. And so in order to do that, these are some of the tips that they are talking about can really set you up for understanding and implementing. And the first is that you really do have to find your reasoning for doing a low buy year. Anytime that you engage in something that is a bit of a challenge, we need to know, why are we going to do it? Because 12 months is a really long time to stick to anything. And, if you're even just hearing this concept for the first time and you're like, oh, but it's, halfway through the year, you can start a low buy year at any point.
Mm-hmm.
You choose the 12 months that it's going to happen in, but determine what the reasoning is for it. Whether that is to just understand your spending a little more, to decrease the amount of consumption that you're doing, or maybe it's to help contribute towards another financial goal. We know a lot of you from the mega survey that we did are wanting to pay down debt. And so something like a low buy year can really help to free up some more cash to be able to throw towards debt, or help you to max out a Roth IRA, or pay for that vacation in full that you've been wanting to take for a really long time. But you definitely need to know, why am I doing this? Don't just do it because we're saying it could be a cool thing to do. It's going to feel really overwhelming if you don't have it tethered to anything. So figure out your reasoning for doing this and be able to kind of come back to that deeper reason.
Yeah, I love the story that she tells. She says last year, her close friend lost 85 pounds. He said he's tried for years to lose the extra weight, but the motivation never stuck until he had a blood test where he thought he was pre-diabetic. So it ended up being skewed results, but for 2 weeks before they told him the results were skewed, he thought he was pre-diabetic. And those 2 weeks, he had intent, that gave him the motivation that actually got his butt in gear. And so then he found out he wasn't pre-diabetic, but he was then afraid of becoming pre-diabetic. And so over the year lost 85 pounds. And I think it's the same with us and our money. We can know what to do, quote unquote, why to do it, what we should be doing, but we have to have that, that diagnosis moment to give us the internal motivators to stick with it. And that is the why we are talking about. Next is to think ahead about what you need to buy this year. Sometimes this can do more harm than good. So there is some prep that should come with doing a no-buy year, but for a low-buy year, I think it's different. I don't think you need to prepare for a low-buy year. And so, like, if you're going to need to repair a place of, a pair of shoes, it gives. If you were doing a no-buy month, you could definitely wait a full month and not replace the shoes over that month. If you're doing a no-buy year, then it might kind of distort your thinking to say, okay, I'm going to need to replace my shoes this year, so I'll just buy them now, so I won't need to replace them throughout, whenever that time comes over the year. As a runner, like, I know once I hit, 150 to 300 miles, like, depending on the shoe, I have to replace that. It is unhealthy for me to run on shoes that are worn down, right? That is a need. But with a low-buy year, we replace things as we need them, and that is acceptable. That's not a quote-unquote failure. Even though I think on a no-buy year, I still wouldn't count that as a failure or an impulse purchase. And that's what we want to get out of the habit of finding a problem and just instantly solving it with money. So I think the preparing, I like how she says think ahead, because this is what Jill does. Jill makes a list of the things she needs so she can be aware while she's at a thrift store, searching yard sales on Facebook Marketplace. And it's not things that are now an emergency situation where I have to, replace it right now. If I'm running, I kind of know how many miles I'm going to run each month and kind of when I'll need to buy new shoes. I can see that coming. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to see it coming and you can prepare. But think ahead and think about, okay, what are these things like running shoes that I know I'm going to have to replace sometime this year.
And alongside with that, tip number 3 is talking about deciding on your personal low-buy year rules. So similar to doing a no-spend challenge where you're deciding what are the limitations and constraints, what am I still going to be able to spend on, but what am I not going to spend on? Same thing. So considering your own lifestyle, the things that are important to you. Like Jen said, will you replace things that break? Maybe a rule for you could be that you're going to choose to spend on experiences instead of things. Will you consider limiting your eating out or takeout spending, or is that something you want to keep the same? Are you going to change what you choose to do around the holidays at all? The author gives the example that for her, low buy means that she's limiting the stuff she buys, not necessarily experiences. So she'll replace consumable items that run out and essential items that wear out, like running shoes, that kind of a thing. She does reference, she has kids, so she is going to be buying Christmas gifts and birthday gifts, but considering ways to be able to kind of scale back and be a little bit more mindful about the spending in those different categories. So you decide in advance what are the parameters that you want to stick to. And I think it really could be good to identify what are the areas where you are maybe spending the most, but you could rein it in. And you're curious to see what kind of problem solving and creativity could happen if you say, for this year, this is what I'm going to choose to do instead. Instead of buying as much as I do from the Target decor section or Amazon late night, I am going to choose to only spend on experiences. So not depriving yourself either, but just being curious. If I put this limitation on myself, what might I learn and how might that help me financially?
Next is to declutter your social media. So the author says, I was tempted to say limit your social media, but that can be a huge source of information, connection, community. And we agree with that. So one of the things I think, like, social media is seasonal. So I think taking each season, and this isn't just like weather seasons, but if you're entering into a no-buy or a low-buy year rather, then it's time to not just declutter, but recurate your social media. So for us, we just published Buy What You Love Without Going Broke in January. during the launch period, I was following a lot of journalists, a lot of book reviewers, a lot of book-related things, a lot of people who could teach me and potentially help me with our book launch specifically. And then once that season was over, I went through and I stopped following all of those people. Not because they did anything to me, just because I wanted to see different things in my feed now. So I want to recurate for a new season. And that's definitely what you need to do in this new season. So any influencer whose main job is to get you to buy things, so fashion, skincare, all the little things, DIY, crafts, all this stuff, take out that stuff, and then you can slowly start to add new people in as you discover them that will help you with this, with your motivation and ideas and creativity for the low buy.
I love the recognition that no decision we make needs to be permanent. Like the curating your social media can ebb and flow. You can decide what's going to be important for me to be digesting and consuming when it comes to digital content right now. But I have the permission to change that in a few months from now if I choose to. So I think that can help when we do audits like this, is knowing I'm going to make a decision now. I'm trying it on for size. I'm doing an experiment. I can always change my mind and shift up who I'm following. There are a few important things we believe everyone should be doing with their money, one of them being securing term life insurance for yourself. It's one of the best ways to prepare for the unexpected, and we're thrilled to introduce you to a company that gives you coverage and peace of mind in just minutes.
Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done right from your couch, all online and on your schedule. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. If you've got kids, and especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in low rates is now.
Even if you have life insurance through your employer, it may not offer enough protection for your family, and it may not follow you if you leave your job. We like Fabric for their flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day.
Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/frugal. That's meetfabric.com/frugal. MEET fabric.com/frugal. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
Looking to save even more money on your phone bill? How does free sound? Helium Mobile is offering the first free phone plan. That's right, free phone service. Seriously, no bill, no contract, just free.
It's not just some limited time deal. You get nationwide 5G coverage with 3 gigabytes of data, 300 texts, and 100 minutes of calls. If you need more data, you can upgrade to their other plans. Plus, you're supporting a community-built network that's growing every day to keep you seamlessly connected wherever you go.
When we first heard about Helium Mobile, we couldn't wait to share it with all our Frugal listeners who are looking to budget smarter when it comes to everyday necessities without sacrificing quality.
So if you're in the market to cut that monthly phone bill, like really cut it, Helium Mobile is where it's at. Download the Helium Mobile app today and use the code FRUGAL to get your free plan today.
Trust isn't just earned, it's demanded. Whether you're a startup founder navigating your first audit or a seasoned security professional scaling your GRC program, proving your commitment to security has never been more critical or more complex. That's where Vanta comes in. Businesses use Vanta to establish trust by automating compliance needs over 35 frameworks, like SOC 2 and ISO 27001. Centralize security workflows, complete questionnaires up to 5 times faster, and proactively manage vendor risk. Vanta can help you start or scale your security program by connecting you with auditors and experts to conduct your audit and set up your security program quickly. Plus, with automation and AI throughout the platform, Vanta gives you time back so you can focus on building your company. Join over 9,000 global companies like Atlassian, Quora, and Factory who use Vanta to manage risk and prove security in real time. For a limited time, our audience gets $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/special. That's VANTA.com/special for $1,000 off.
Sail to breathtaking destinations in Alaska or Europe with the Disney Cruise Line. Discover where onboard magic meets onshore adventures, where beloved characters
Hiya, pal!
meet alluring landscapes, where Broadway quality shows meet historic cities, where imaginative dining meets amazing wildlife, and where exciting experiences await the whole family. Book an adventure-filled summer Disney cruise to Alaska or Europe.
Okay, number 5 is to create wish lists. Jen already mentioned that this is something that I do on an ongoing basis, I have a running list within my phone in the Notes app of things that I want to buy. So if I see something cutesy or have an idea of something that I want to add to my kitchen that I think would make my life more efficient, kind of the things that none of it's urgent, it's not an emergency, but I think I'm going to want this, I put it on a list. And so she's describing this too, having a place to go with the desire to spend is really helpful. Writing something down physically on a list like this can give you a bit of that dopamine release that we're looking for in the purchase, but without actually needing to spend the money. So it allows that desire to have an outlet, but it doesn't mean that we have to follow the desire all the way through. It also doesn't mean that we never get to buy that thing. We can always revisit that list and see, is this something that I still want? If not, delete it. If it is, fine, keep an eye out for it. And for me, it specifically allows me the opportunity to kind of go through the filtering that Jen and I have really been loving of figuring out how can you get it for free? How can you get it for a deal? And so when I have it on a list and I'm able to revisit it, then I'm able to see, all right, is it at this thrift store? Is it on Facebook Marketplace? Can I find it on a Buy Nothing group as I'm scrolling and I can kind of reference back to that list I've created?
Next is to unsubscribe from store emails and delete apps. And this is another one that is curating. It's kind of decluttering, but kind of curating. So normally we would say you don't have to unsubscribe from emails. You could just do like an unroll me or a unroll.me is a browser extension that rolls up all of your emails into one, like your promotion emails into one email a day, or make a folder where all of them go to that's hidden. But if you're doing a low buy year, that is a unique season. Or if you're doing a low buy season, that is unique. In that case, we need to look at our spending triggers, and sales for a lot of us are spending triggers. So unsubscribing for this season from all of them. And then after the season's done, you can resubscribe to the things that are important to you and like put them in the unroll me or the hidden folder. So they're there. So you have the sales if you want them. But this is a unique season. So this is where I would say, and it's longer than a no spend challenge, right? So if we're in a 30-day no spend challenge, you don't necessarily need to take the time to unsubscribe from everything because in 30 days it's over. And that's where the low spend is unique. It's a longer season, so it requires a little bit more curating for sustainability. So unsubscribing from store emails, yes. Deleting apps, yes. Again, once you come back, then you can delete all of them and re-download what you want as you want it. And I even say this for a no spend challenge. It's still helpful to delete apps even for 30 days because I think those really can be, I feel like I look at my apps on my phone screen more than I go into my email. That could be flip-flopped for you, but deleting apps will keep you from easily being able to order something online. And with the last one, she says something when the Amazon where the siren call of the buy now button is so powerful, lists are an equally powerful way to fight the temptation. Another powerful way is to delete the Amazon app off your phone. So it's not saying that you can never use Amazon the whole low buy unless that's one of your rules. I don't think any particular retailer has to be eliminated for it to be a low buy. It's very much up to you. But keeping the Amazon app and the easy access off your phone, that is helpful to succeeding. We just want to create as many barriers as possible because the technology and the success of these companies is through how easy they make it to impulse buy and how fast like fintech companies make frictionless payment. We need to fight back by creating friction and creating barriers, creating inconvenience.
Yeah. I love the parameter for a low buy year of not purchasing replacements until they're needed. I think a lot of times when it comes to store sales, that can be what happens is, oh, well, I heard about a sale. I'm eventually going to need this thing. I don't right now, but I might as well take advantage of the sale now. I'd be curious what happens for us if we don't know that the sale is happening and we only go on to that store's website to purchase the replacement. And maybe we discover, oh, there is a sale going on, or we could look up, when do we think the next sale is going to happen? Can I wait that much longer for the replacement? But that would be an interesting, I think, rule to create of not like pushing back against some of like the hoarding tendencies of collecting the thing so that you have it for a rainy day, but really pushing it more to the limit and only getting it when you need it.
Yeah, when I need something, when I know I'm going to need to replace something, I will maybe put it in my cart or tag it or put it or like save it somewhere. And for a few weeks, watch to see if there are any sales.
Oh, that'll happen.
And if there are no sales, I buy it at full price without guilt. Like I'm not going to, I save a lot more money by not impulse buying just random things on sale and not using them because they're not as good as the thing that I really wanted. I would rather just buy the thing that I really want at full price.
Number 7, last but not least, is come up with a list of activities to replace shopping. This one cannot be understated. We need this. This is the lifeline.
I'd say this is the most important thing because so much of our shopping comes from stress, from unhealthy or absent coping mechanisms, boredom, and just like jumping to spending like as an activity to avoid boredom.
And we talk about it's not about deprivation. There could be some sacrifice here, but we don't want this to feel like an unreasonable, unbearable kind of challenge to be giving ourselves, but rather embracing some of the creativity that can happen and finding alternative ways to cope, finding alternative ways to experience that dopamine release that we're looking for, and potentially even learning more about ourselves and finding the things that actually are even more fun than spending money. And maybe we wouldn't have realized that if we hadn't have given ourselves this opportunity. I love some of the examples that she gives. She describes that in her home, if she's tempted to buy something new, she rearranges. I love this idea when it comes to, you know, if buying home decor is a huge one for you in particular. Creating a different kind of aesthetic with the things that you already have can really bring a nice refresh to the place. If she's tempted to buy something for her wardrobe, she does the laundry. Now that one doesn't sound maybe like as fun, that instead of buying, I'm going to go do a chore, but it helps her to remind herself of all the clothing she does have. And you do get the reward of completing a task, having clean, wearable clothing. If she's tempted to buy a book and can't access it right away, instead, she'll order it from the library or download a sample of it on Kindle and wait patiently for the book to come in. Although I will also say if you have Libby or Hoopla, you don't even have to be patient. You could just get the book off that app either as an ebook or an audiobook. And they can also communicate with a Kindle. You can send it to your Kindle from Libby or Hoopla. Depending on the book, sometimes you are going to have a wait period on it. But if you ordered a physical copy, you absolutely would be waiting at least a day or two for it to come in anyway. So love that tip.
Or if you really want it and want to keep it, run down to your local bookstore and get it.
So you could commit to walking more, watching some of the shows on the streaming services you already pay for, finding a new recipe to cook, calling a friend. One of the things we talk about in our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke, is having congruent sized alternatives to the thing that you were doing, like the ways in which you were spending. So kind of the small, medium, big sized alternatives. So if, scrolling on your phone at night and buying things from Instagram or Amazon is kind of your MO when it comes to impulse spending, then something you can do instead late at night, right? So like going for a run isn't going to be a great alternative if it's 11:30 p.m. Instead, maybe you've got a list of funny videos that you want to watch. There's a comedian that you enjoy following, or you journal, or you play a game on your phone. Something that's similar in size to that thing. If it's going out and shopping with a friend and you enjoy it maybe like as an activity, then maybe it's something kind of congruent with that, where you are going out for a walk, meeting up with a friend to do that thing, or packing a picnic lunch. Something that's going to feel like it gets you a version of what it is that you're looking for to the same size of it.
Yes. I just had this idea and I want to pose this challenge. Maybe this is the challenge for April.
Ooh.
Instead of scrolling, text a friend a meme, a different friend every day, 30 friends in 30 days, 30 memes.
Ooh.
And strike up a conversation. Sometimes they'll text back, sometimes they won't because they're busy, But sometimes you might get a meme back or a GIF.
Yeah, or send them an audiogram. Those are fun.
That's scarier.
It's fun though.
It could be fun.
If you want next level challenge.
Okay, if you want next level challenge, but if you are like me and you're not like great at reaching out to people, I think community and relationship is a far better like solution to our anxieties and our stress and all the things that sources of stress shopping that we have. I think that 30 memes to 30 friends in 30 days could solve all your problems.
I love that.
I just thought about it like 30 seconds ago, but I'm committed to saying on the record,
yes.
I believe it will change your life.
In addition to your low buy year, you also have an April challenge.
I'll try it.
Do you know what is not a challenge, but something we also love when people try?
It's the only like audio message that feels safe to me. All other audio, I honestly I would never. I respect people who do, but I could never.
This is wild because you're a podcaster.
I know.
You literally only do audiograms. It's how you make your money. It's how you heat your house.
I get it. I'm a conundrum.
Wow. The bill of the week.
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the bill of the week.
Hey, Frugal friends. My name is Ruth, and I was listening to your episode about the car and the minivan, and we have an 11-year-old Toyota Corolla with fewer than 100,000 miles on it. But every once in a while, I start thinking, I'd love a backup camera, but, I want a new car or something. And recently I started saying, okay, I'm going to start making myself pay a car payment into an account. So now we have a car payment, it's $500, goes into a savings account every month. So that, maybe when we have the price of a new car in cash, we can go ahead and do that. Or if we get in an accident, we'll have something for a down payment beyond that. But it's a little way of my saying, okay, you know what? I'm preparing for that. I'm preparing for that new car, but my current car works perfect now. And it's a bill that I'm paying to myself, and hopefully that'll save future us some money.
That's it. Yep, that's it. That's how you do it.
That is how you do it, Ruth. You cracked the
got
code.
it.
You figured it out.
Ruth.
The Matrix is solved. Ruth.
Thank you. That is honestly how you do it. When you decide you want another car, then you start saving for it. And if you need a new car before you've saved all the money. You've got the down payment. Otherwise, when you hit your goal, you get to reward yourself with a new car, whether you need it or not, right? Or you just let it sit there and wait for your car today. You get to choose. But if you don't have the money, you don't get to choose.
And now you have the cash to negotiate that car purchase too. You may not even need to have a car payment once you get the next thing. You are doing this in a brilliant way.
That's it. And the thing is, your Toyota Corolla is never gonna die. It's never going to. It's yours forever. But if you have the money, then you can do whatever you want.
Oh, we are so. Can you tell the things that light us up? I love that we're lit up about her paying herself
Ruth,
a
you
car
have lit
payment.
us up. People are walking by our office and they are distressed by how lit we are.
Ruth, you're doing the real thing, and we're so glad to hear from you. If you all are listening and you're just so inspired by Ruth and you want to share about things that you're setting money aside for, or things that you have paid off already, or just how long your car is running, because we're also here for that, or your name is Bill and you've had who knows how many amounts of vehicles in your life, we want to hear about that. frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill. Leave us your bill. We're ready for it. Looking to save even more money on your phone bill? How does free sound? Helium Mobile is offering the first free phone plan. That's right, free phone service. Seriously, no bill, no contract, just free.
It's not just some limited time deal. You get nationwide 5G coverage with 3 gigabytes of data, 300 texts, and 100 minutes of calls. If you need more data, you can upgrade to their other plans. Plus, you're supporting a community-built network that's growing every day to keep you seamlessly connected wherever you go.
When we first heard about Helium Mobile, we couldn't wait to share it with all our Frugal listeners who are looking to budget smarter when it comes to everyday necessities without sacrificing quality.
So if you're in the market to cut that monthly phone bill, like really cut it, Helium Mobile is where it's at. Download the Helium Mobile app today and use the code FRUGAL to get your free plan today.
Sail to breathtaking destinations in Alaska or Europe with the Disney Cruise Line. Discover where onboard magic meets onshore adventures, where beloved characters
Hiya, pal!
meet alluring landscapes, where Broadway quality shows meet historic cities, where imaginative dining meets amazing wildlife, and where exciting experiences await the whole family. Book an adventure-filled summer Disney cruise to Alaska or Europe.
It's tax season, and by now, I know we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Here's another, 20%. That's the overall increase in identity theft related to tax fraud in 2024 alone. But it's not all grim news. Here's a good number, 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's US-based restoration specialists will fix it, backed by another good number, the $1 Million Protection Plan. In fact, restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Don't face identity theft and financial losses alone. There's strength in numbers with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection for tax season and beyond. Join now and save up to 40% your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock and use promo code IHEART or go to lifelock.com/iHeart for 40% off. Terms apply.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour. I'm Joe.
And I'm Serena.
And we are here with the iHeart Music Awards and David's Bridal,
who are sponsoring this podcast, and we are so grateful to them.
Thank you for finishing my sentence. And we are here with our favorites, Dotun and Charity.
Where were you in bikinis in the snow?
Montana.
Okay, she flew out and joined you guys.
Yeah. Isn't it cold?
No, it was.
Well, yeah, it's bikinis in the snow.
We
of course
risked
it's cold.
getting hypothermia for those photos.
Wow.
They were sick though.
I don't get bikinis in the snow.
It's just like an aesthetic. I don't know.
If him and I did that, if we did like Speedos in the snow, you guys would be like douchebags.
No, I wouldn't.
Well, Speedos in the snow would be hilarious.
Really? I would be like, let's see it. Come on. I would not complain. I beg him to do stuff like that. And he's like, no.
That's going to be the name of this podcast episode, Bachelor Happy Hour Speedos in the Snow.
David's Bridal, if you're listening.
David's Bridal.
Sponsored shift your branding a little bit.
Sponsored by David's Bridal. Speedos in the Snow.
Room wear.
And now it's time for the lightning round.
What are your exceptions in your low buy year? So I'll be honest. I've never done like an official low buy year. So if I feel like my life is low buy. That's the thing. Low buy is a buzzword, but it's also just being frugal. I want to like put that out there. I should have put that out there at the top of the episode. But now that we've come 30 minutes in, I just want to like wrap that up by saying a low buy year is a frugal living
is your
lifestyle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what are my exceptions? There are no exceptions. When you're spending based on your values, then your values are not exceptions. Your values are priorities.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
This is a very, very good way of getting out of answering the question.
Jill, your answer is just boring. So I wanted to have something interesting to say.
I know.
But I would say that, so the things I spend on guilt-free, childcare. I still want to, like I've said that for years, 5 years at this point, that childcare is my favorite money that I spend every month. And I will, continue to pay it for a few more years. Actually, just like one more year, I think. Whew, that's nice. Who knows? And then I might invest that money.
Yeah.
Get back to investing. That'll be nice.
You know, I value breaks. I think if I could summarize what I am willing to spend on, it's opportunities to take a break.
That was not the answer I said. She changed her answer, guys.
But it is involved in this. So what I mean by that is
breaks for your car? Because that is why you got a new car.
Yeah. For safety reasons. The safety versions of brakes. But I recently said to you that, I do not buy things, products, tangible goods, but I will spend on like food, travel, activities. So for me, that's not going away. I feel like I have really understood what I enjoy spending on. And that's what I'm going to be spending on. But it all kind of represents, when I go out to eat, it's like a break from being in my home, from being in the kitchen, from needing to exert energy and time to cooking. So I will pay for food out. To go to an activity or to travel is kind of like a break from the everyday charade.
That's kind of when I get takeout food, that's essentially what I am paying for. Like, I will say, like, I like travel and experiences too. Like, I'm not a monster. I'm just at a period in my life where those things cost double or sometimes quadruple.
Right.
And I can't afford that. So I'm not at a place right now where, or not that I can't afford, I don't value it enough to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on babysitters and like traveling, like tickets. So yeah, and I'm tired. There's free stuff, but I'm just tired. So that's why the breaks that I pay for are typically takeout. Yeah, my mom watched the kids on Saturday and we were so exhausted. This is so embarrassing. We were so exhausted. We didn't have a plan. We just didn't have time to think of, we'd known for like a month that my mom was going to watch the kids on this night because she watches them once a month. And we didn't know what we were going to do.
Wait, wasn't she going to take them to her place so you could be at home? You knew that you wanted that.
Yeah, she took them to Chuck E. Cheese and then brought them home and watched them at our house, like, while we were going to go out.
Oh, okay.
And we just didn't have a plan. So we ended up just doing chores until they said they were on their way. And then we left. We didn't know what to do. So we just got tacos and went to Aldi and came home.
Got groceries? Did you need groceries or was that like a fun activity to go to Aldi?
Aldi closes at 8 on Saturdays. And we got there at 7:55.
Oh.
Right? So then we ended up getting home in enough time, miraculously, to put the kids to bed.
Oh no, Jen.
That is my life. And that is my life in a nutshell right now.
Oh my gosh. You know what I can do for Frugal Friends to contribute to our business is like come up with date ideas for you guys.
Wow.
You just like have a list of like, you don't have to, because that is a thing. You got to exert energy into making a plan and figuring out what to do.
So I think childcare is the best part of my day.
Yeah.
Dropping off. And I won't say that public school is childcare, but that is also a good part of my day.
It's also education. That's good.
I love our school, our elementary school. But yeah, so I would say that's mine. But yeah, again, a low by year, I think, is a concerted effort toward frugal living. I think you can view it as a more rigid, kind of like a starter course.
Mm-hmm.
And then frugality is just a little bit more flexible. So if you don't jive with really rigid things and you want something that's a little softer, I think a low by year can be a concerted effort toward frugality. So thank you so much for listening. And we love, love, love reading your kind reviews of the podcast and the book. And this one specifically on the book, it's from Anastasia. It's 5 stars. She says, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke is a down-to-earth read that feels like a chat with friends over homemade coffee. The authors meet each reader where they are on their own personal finance journey. This book provides a foundation that encourages its readers to assess their relationships with money and ultimately create their own roadmaps toward financial empowerment. Thanca you, Anastasia.
Wow, that's so helpful and such a kind review. We're really glad to hear that you feel seen in the book and like you're chatting with a friend. That's the feedback we hear a lot about the podcast. So it's really cool to hear that that came through in the book and that kind of regardless of where you are on your financial journey, there's something for you. I think that was also a hope in giving some of the foundational principles of how to spend money well that can be applicable at any life stage or season. So thank you so much for that beautiful review of the book. If this is a book that you have not purchased, but it's sounding interesting to you, you can get Buy What You Love Without Going Broke anywhere that books are sold. And we so appreciate you also just tuning into this podcast and listening. If you've enjoyed the show, then please take a minute to leave us a rating and review. It really does help us, helps other listeners find us, know if it's going to be right for them. So thanks for doing that.
Absolutely. And we will see you next time. Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Sirianni.
Okay, Jen.
Yes.
Yesterday, you were a chaperone.
I chaperoned the kindergarten field trip to the zoo.
Yes.
All the kindergarten classes went. And I actually went with my friend Kendra because our sons are in the same kindergarten class. And Miss K knows that we're friends. So she put us in the same chaperone group at the park too. So yeah, we took, here's this thing. There are 17 kids in my son's kindergarten class.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah, it does. And then there were enough chaperones that there were 3 adults for 4 kids. And in the 3 adults that were in our group, we each had our kid. So then we only had 1 girl who was not our own.
Just a rogue.
Yeah.
Rogue child.
And so you're like, wow, that is so many adults per child. And then you get to the zoo and you get to walking around and you're like, always losing one. It seems like you needed a one-on-one attention for all the kids. And meanwhile, Miss K is walking around with 7 kids by herself. And she's just like, hey, chill. Like, this is great. And I was like, I can't. What?
It's almost too many cooks in the kitchen because How do you know who's responsible for what kid?
Well, it's enough kids where you should be able to see all 4 in your eyesight at all time. Or at least you can see, one of the other chaperones. And so it didn't feel like there were too many adults. It felt like there were too many children.
You were still outnumbered.
Right. So, yeah, it was very fun, though. A lot
of people.
I like the moms that I was with, and the kids in our group were very good. And we went and we saw tiger and elephants, giraffes, rhinos, monkeys, all the types of monkeys, every single type of monkey. Penguins.
Was that cool for Kai to have you there?
Yes, of course.
Did you feel like a fly on the wall? Like you got to see how he interacts with his friends, or do you think he behaves differently when you're around?
No, I think I've been to his class before, so I kind of see how he interacts. But sometimes you can't always trust the words of a 5-year-old. So they come home and they'll tell you stuff, and you're like, did that really happen? Like, is Mac really copping all your goldfish at school? You have to bring 3 packs of goldfish. Like, is he running like a ring where he's taking everyone's goldfish? What's happening? And so just the way he says things, you don't know what's really going on. So yeah, it was fun. It's always fun to see the faces of all the kids that he talks about, to meet their parents. Yeah.
Well, what did you learn? Is this kid actually like taking everybody else's food?
No.
Did you get to watch it in action? No.
Mac is actually Kendra's son. So I know Mac, like I know him. Like, and he's feisty, but I don't think he's running a goldfish redealing ring.
Right.
Or
maybe not. Maybe he's just consuming it all. Maybe he's in his overconsumption of goldfish year.
This is also a possibility because Kai is like, Mac loves goldfish. And I was like, does he? Is that why you asked me to put 3 bags in your lunch? Does he love them that much?
Yeah.
But I think he just wants to be generous. Kai wants to be generous. I don't think.
Or it's all a ruse. Or Kai just wants to eat that many goldfish, but he's using his friends as a scapegoat.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want them. And I'm just like, then sometimes he does want them. I was like, you better want them. I just bought a 45 bag pack from Costco and I'm not giving them all to Mac. So it is very fun to see all their little behaviors.
It was fun. What was your favorite thing to see at the zoo?
I really like the giraffes and the elephants are together. So you see them in their little Serengeti type, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, okay. I have been to this zoo before. Yeah.
So that's really cool. Great. Penguins are really great. Yeah.
Did the kids get to feed the giraffes?
No, they didn't feed any. And honestly, after an hour and a half, they were all wiped. It was insane.
An hour and a half at the zoo. They were done.
Done.
What?
I have this amazing picture that Kendra actually asked somebody walking by to take for us because it was so comical. But it was, now it's gone. It's like if you don't save something in 24 hours, it leaves your phone. But it's all of the kids. Oh, no, there it is. Like, just passed out.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, they are.
Yes. Oh, I'm looking at this photo and every single child is just like in the lap of an adult, wrecked, just absolutely demolished.
That was 2 hours in, honestly. And we still had an hour left to be there. You think the kindergartners are going there from 10 to 1, 3 hours. How are you going to do everything? No. That was 2 hours in and they were wiped. And we were like, can we go now?
What a cute photo.
I know. So yeah, that was the zoo. And it was so chaotic, so fun. One time I chaperoned a trip to SeaWorld, not for like my kids. This was before when I lived in Orlando. I had a friend who was a teacher and she needed chaperones for her I think it was either like 8th grade or like young high school. I can't remember. I think it was middle school. And they went to SeaWorld and they needed chaperones. And that was so fun.
Yeah.
Like chaperoning middle schoolers at SeaWorld, they were just so chaotic. It was so good.
So when that happens, like, are you able to just take Kai home with you straight from there? Or do they go back to school for a little bit?
Yeah, no. And I carpooled there with Kendra and another mom. And then I was going to take Kai home with me. And so he came with us. And then one of the other moms, her car like broke while we were there. And so we ended up taking her and her daughter back. So it was a minivan with 4 moms and 2 kids coming back. Yeah.
Amazing.
That was fun.
Yeah. So the other moms sent their kids just back to school?
On the bus, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you only have so much space.
It was I gave Kai the option because he's usually really excited about the bus. And he was so tired. He wanted to like just ride with me.
Oh.
So the other kids.
Wow, good thing you got that minivan.
It wasn't my minivan. It was Kendra's. Yeah, right?
Oh, wow.
I was just along for the ride. It was pleasurable for me.
Amazing. Sounds like a fun day. So glad you were able to do that.
Yes, it was so fun.
Looking to save even more money on your phone bill? How does free sound? Helium Mobile is offering the first free phone plan. That's right, free phone service. Seriously, no bill, no contract, just free.
It's not just some limited time deal. You get nationwide 5G coverage with 3 gigabytes of data, 300 texts, and 100 minutes of calls. If you need more data, you can upgrade to their other plans. Plus, you're supporting a community-built network that's growing every day to keep you seamlessly connected wherever you go.
When we first heard about Helium Mobile, we couldn't wait to share it with all our Frugal listeners who are looking to budget smarter when it comes to everyday necessities without sacrificing quality.
So if you're in the market to cut that monthly phone bill, like really cut it, Helium Mobile is where it's at. Download the Helium Mobile app today and use the code FRUGAL to get your free plan today.
Psst. The best time to get permanent Everlights for your home is right now. You'll get the best price of the year. You'll get installed quickly. And with Everlights, you'll have the brightest and longest lasting lights year-round. Show your colors for the 4th of July, for your team's game day, and you'll beat the Christmas rush. Best thing is, no ladders or installer takedown for years and years to come. Everlights is your everyday lighting solution for your home or business. Click the banner for a free quote for the year's best deal.
In a world of economic uncertainty and workplace transformation, learn to lead by example from visionary C-suite executives like Shannon Schuyler of PwC and Will Pearson of iHeartMedia.
The good teacher explains, the great teacher inspires.
Don't always leave your team to do the work. That's been the most important part of how to lead by example.
Listen to Leading by Example, Executives Making an Impact on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
My name is Brendan Patrick Hughes, host of Divine Intervention. This is a story about radical nuns in combat boots and wild-haired priests trading blows with J. Edgar Hoover in a hell-bent effort to sabotage a war.
J. Edgar Hoover was furious. He was out of his mind, and he wanted to bring the Catholic left to its knees.
Listen to Divine Intervention on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.